Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, you're joining today's webcast, Winning in 2017, Why Now's the Time for Marketing Agility. Before we begin, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your audience console, there are multiple application widgets you can use throughout the webcast. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom. We do capture all submitted questions, so we'll be able to view these during the webcast and hopefully address them all at the end during the Q&A. If we don't have an opportunity to address every question, though, we'll follow up shortly after the webinar's conclusion. A copy of today's slide deck is available in the resource list widget, like a green folder at the bottom of your screen. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the maximize icon on the top right of the slide area, or by dragging the bottom right corner of the slide area. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the help widget. It has a question mark icon and covers common technical issues. All right, let's get started. First off, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. My name is Jenny Rooney, and I'm the editor of Forbes CMO Network. Joining me today is Ed Breault, Aprimo's Vice President of Marketing and Industry Solutions. Today's webinar is brought to you by Forbes Insights and Aprimo. Forbes Insights is the thought leadership practice of Forbes Media, specializing in primary research on a range of business topics. To learn more about our research and download our latest reports, please visit Forbes.com/ForbesInsights. Ed, thanks so much for joining me. Can you tell us now a little bit more about Aprimo?
Sure. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, to talk about Aprimo is it's rather exciting, especially because of the customers we have, our client list. It's pretty amazing. We've been Aprimo was founded in 1998, so it's been around for a while. It's the recognized leader in marketing operations management for over 14 years consecutively. And today, it's a software as a service platform provider for enterprise mid-market. It also includes B2B and B2C cross industries. And think of it as it's a strategy hub for marketing to put their great ideas in, iterate on those great ideas, their strategies, all their go-to-market plans. It manages the budgets, the spend, the workflows, and creative development and digital assets, as well as getting those assets ready to flow down and distributed into whatever the channel might be. And some of our customers would call Aprimo the start button for marketing, or it's the place where great ideas go in and revenue comes out. I think that's my favorite one. But what it does is it completes the end-to-end value chain of marketing and plugs into a broader marketing tech stack. And some of those customers that I mentioned, we've got 150 plus, 15 plus countries, and a lot of presence in the Fortune 500. We actually have the top 6 of 10 in financial services, as well as Aprimo has helped the top 6 in life sciences and media. It's helped the top 4 of 10 in the Fortune 500 of retailers and telecom, and actually the #1 food company in the world. So it's rather exciting, and we're humbled by the brands that we work with. Thank you, Jenny.
Excellent, Ed. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And with that, we'd like to start today's presentation with a look at the modern-day customer. Now, today's customers are more connected, more informed, and more in control than ever before. With research firm IDC predicting customers will own nearly 4 billion smartphones by the end of 2017, customers now expect to be able to purchase almost anything, anytime, anywhere, while receiving real-time targeted messages and services. But that's not all. With unlimited access to online review sites, Facebook, blogs, they're also well armed with information, from pricing details to product specs. In fact, 81% of shoppers conduct online research before buying, according to Adweek. And HubSpot reveals that half of shoppers spend at least 75% of their total shopping time conducting online research, all of which is raising the stakes for marketers. These days, customers are demanding to be treated according to their unique needs. This requires engaging customers across multiple channels using personalized messaging. Now, to dig deeper into the state of modern marketing, Aprimo conducted a survey with Forbes insights of 308 marketing leaders. Respondents represented a range of industries, including retail, telecommunications, technology, customer packaged goods, life sciences, media, and insurance. Geographies included the U.S., Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Among the key findings we'll discuss throughout this webinar is that nearly half, 43%, of companies are delivering individualized experiences for all customers across all channels. By providing a consistent and meaningful marketing experience across multiple channels comes with its fair share of challenges. As customers flip from brand's website to email to social media, no longer can marketers rely on the straight and narrow customer journey to reach their target audience. Now, another challenge is making sure marketing spend actually drives return on marketing investment. After all, executives want to see bottom line benefits from today's marketing technologies. And it's now more critical than ever that companies leverage data to drive dynamic experiences. Long gone are sweeping marketing segments built on demand demographic details. Rather, big brands are combining anonymous data with known behavioral and attitudinal data to create a fuller picture of your customer and build individualized marketing campaigns. So too must marketers align every step of the marketing process to the right campaign, message, and content. Now, this entails figuring out how to connect with customers at the precise moment they're about to make a purchasing decision and across all channels. Now, with that, I'd like to pose a question for our audience. We'll explore the results later on in today's presentation, but for now, we'd love it if you could answer the following question. Which of these challenges poses the biggest marketing obstacle for your organization? Is it providing a consistent and meaningful marketing experience? Is it using marketing spend to drive return on marketing investment? Is it leveraging data to drive dynamic experiences? Or is it aligning every step of the marketing process to the right campaign, message, and content? Now, I'll give you just a moment to answer that question, and again, we'll circle back to your responses later on in the presentation. All right, so how can marketers satisfy these new demands? Well, there are a number of key strategies. For starters, marketers must focus on creating a seamless and consistent experience across multiple channels. This is about creating deep relationships with individual customers that span multiple channels in real time. The next step is delivering highly personalized content through the right channel at the right time. For example, if your data mining reveals that a potential customer is about to graduate from college, decide on the type of marketing campaign and content that is most likely to convert that prospect into a customer. Perhaps a pop-up ad highlighting a specialized bank loan program will convince a new grad to enroll. Or maybe she'll be more receptive to a targeted email promoting an upcoming job fair. Either way, she's receiving a truly personalized message that is based on more than simply transactional history. And then there's the importance of timing. Marketers need to support customers' ability to purchase almost anything, anytime, anywhere, while receiving real-time targeted services and messaging. If a customer prefers to download books on his smartphone, make sure you meet him there with relevant messaging. If that same customer enjoys shopping for clothing while at home on his desktop, target his email inbox with the right offers. Now let's take a look at a case study. To better understand the new world we're living in, let's look at Xerox. The global corporation needed to refine its marketing processes as it transitioned from being a hardware company to a production solutions provider. So Xerox turned to Aprimo to create a single platform to automate its marketing activities. Since then, Aprimo has enabled the entire Xerox global marketing team to collaborate on all marketing initiatives, regardless of location. Now, marketing team members can organize, locate, and use all marketing material from within one central repository. Not only does this create more seamless workflows, but it provides Xerox with the agility needed to react quickly to changing needs and emerging trends. All right, so what happens when you fail your customers? Let's take a look at the statistics. Research by CX cloud provider SCL reveals that in the year following customers having a poor experience, brands can expect 65% of the previous revenue from those customers. Worse yet, 64% of those customers will stop recommending a brand, leave, or give negative reviews. At the same time, MarketTrack reports that 80% of shoppers would switch stores or brands when offered a compelling promotion. And 53% of adults living in high-income households are willing to switch brands for the sake of using a coupon, reveals GfK MR. In other words, all that's standing between you and your greatest competitor is a 5% discount card. No wonder more and more organizations are looking to marketing agility to help them create compelling customer experiences. Marketing agility entails aligning and adjusting marketing processes in a way that meets the demands of when, where, and how a customer wants to engage. The goal is to adapt customers' changing needs by committing resources where they can be put to best use. By doing so, brands can better meet, respond to, and exceed customer expectations. So how do marketers measure success? Survey respondents' answers revolved around 4 key areas. 37% are interested in greater efficiency, such as faster speed to market. 30% cited on-time completion of marketing projects. 27% answered customer focus, and 24% said a flexible approach to changing customer needs. Let's consider another case study. Measuring success is one thing. Actually, achieving marketing agility requires great visibility. Consider Bank of America. While conducting an evaluation of its marketing effectiveness, the financial services firm discovered a number of challenges, including limited visibility into its marketing abilities, inconsistent campaign management, and poor tracking of its marketing spend. The Bank of America spearheaded a pilot implementation of Aprimo's marketing productivity solution. By doing so, Bank of America was able to streamline its asset planning and automate the creative approval process. Now automated notifications and reminders are sent to all appropriate team members and agency partners. By gaining greater visibility and establishing a consistent process across the marketing organization, Bank of America is now able to support smarter marketing and faster decision-making. In fact, faster decision-making is only one of the many advantages of agility. Other benefits include the ability to adapt to changing customer needs without having to sacrifice best practices, a significant uptick in revenue. For instance, a slight increase in customer experience at a typical $1 billion company can produce an additional $272 million in revenue over 3 years. With these benefits in mind, 93% of decision makers say that a good customer experience is one of their top strategic priorities. All right, so how agile are you? Given all of its perks, we wanted to see just how agile organizations really are. So we asked survey respondents, to what degree has your organization adopted Agile marketing? The findings are encouraging. 38% answered we have fully adopted Agile marketing. 56% said we have adopted Agile marketing in some programs and areas. 4% admitted we have not adopted Agile marketing, but we're planning to. And a scant 2% maintain Agile marketing is not for us. Now, despite the fact that marketing operations has been around for years, more than half of marketers say their companies are among the last to adopt the technology that makes marketing agility possible. In fact, only 24% of respondents currently consider themselves highly successful in using Agile marketing to deliver relevant, individualized customer communications. So what's standing in the way of companies achieving greater agility? The top responses include organizational bureaucracy, where red tape is preventing marketers from garnering support for greater marketing agility, a difficulty building a strong business case for Agile marketing, employees who are not empowered to make decisions, a difficulty connecting the dots between Agile marketing and positive business outcomes, and operating in a siloed or hierarchical organization. Now, timing is also an important component. Timing is a chief concern to brands, as 44% of respondents say they're most agile in the pre-transaction stage, when a customer is still searching for information about a product or service. 35% say they are most agile in the purchase decision stage, and 27% say they are most agile in the purchase buy stage. While these figures are promising, marketers need to find ways to become more agile during the purchasing and buying stage of a customer's journey. That's because it's at this point that marketers are most connected with customers and can better influence their purchasing decisions. So despite the challenges of technology and timing, there's no reason to get left behind. There are plenty of ways marketers can begin to increase their marketing agility. According to survey respondents, the top 5 ways to achieve marketing agility are the following. 1, implementing marketing plan and spend management, cited by 41%. 2, hiring new talent. 3, implementing marketing workflow management. 4, implementing content production management. And 5, ensuring content compliance. All right, so what will it take to become more agile? Certainly, a marketing plan and top talent can help organizations get a better grasp on customer needs. But even the brightest employees require the right technology and infrastructure to be in place to bring about marketing agility. Among the factors considered most critical for Agile marketing success are technology, process and organization, company culture, and budget. Now, you'll notice that although marketing and IT teams are always vying for a larger slice of corporate spend, a huge budget isn't imperative to marketing agility success. Let's look at another case study. As the last slide demonstrated, more than half of respondents cite technology as a key factor for Agile marketing success. A prime example is Dell's teaming up with Aprimo. During a recent restructuring, the technology giant realized that it needed to create a consolidated view of its marketing activities, spend, and resources. In response, Dell worked with Aprimo to launch a change management plan that included integrating the company's existing CRM, procurement, and financial services financial systems to create a single point of entry for all marketing activities and campaigns. By leveraging technology, Dell was able to create a centralized view of its marketing activities, spend, and resources. If the need arises to spend marketing dollars on something unanticipated, like an industry event, Dell has the marketing agility required to see how much money it's currently spending, where it's allocated funds, and where there's room to expand. While case studies like Dell speak to the power of agile marketing, only 28% of survey respondents, quote unquote, completely agree that their organization's current corporate culture, technology, process, and budget support agile marketing. Another 31% say a year from now, they'll still be working toward becoming more agile. For many, the answer is gaining access to the right technology tools to support greater agility. For instance, 31% say their progress will depend on resource availability. A new era of marketing is dawning. As customers become increasingly empowered, organizations need to be able to quickly identify and respond to customer behaviors and market realities. To do that, marketers need to become more agile. Fortunately, the right technology can help marketers regain control of their marketing efforts. Establishing best practices and a methodology for continuous learning is also critical to success. And introducing a system of record lets companies more easily adapt to fluctuating customer demands. Together, these components can optimize marketing operations in a way that meets the demands of when, where, and how a customer wants to engage. And with that, Ed, I'm going to pass it off to you, and I know initially you are going to reveal the results of our poll.
Yes, thank you, Jenny. And yeah, thank you for reviewing those. And what's amazing about some of those stories is just the magnitude at which they operate and the billions of dollars that flow through those organizations. So very powerful. And looking at the results, not very surprised. Yeah, if we look down, you know, the highest percentage here, aligning every step of the marketing process to the right campaign messaging content. I mean, that even speaks to the research here where, you know, that pressure is on us as marketers in the marketing organization to really deliver that compelling and individualized experience. And our customers, they demand that content to be personal, contextual, and available across, you know, that growing number of channels and on all the devices that we've got in our house. And that we wear, right? We're wearing, you know, how much technology are you wearing today? You know, I like to ask that question. But thank you for walking through that and looking at the poll. And what I like to focus on is those customer expectations, the usage of traditional marketing, and then what's happening to the organization. So if we look at all that, now let's focus on what's happening at our organizations. It's just creating this immense strain on the limited resources, you know, being the people, our budgets, the cost, the creative talent that we have in-house, that we hire at agencies, and the time pressure to hit the market to be relevant. And many marketers are still relying on traditional marketing technologies or even technologies that weren't even built for marketing. Even, you know, in 2017, we're still leveraging technology that wasn't meant for us to use. And you know, when you mix the exponential amount of those channels with the amount of content that we have to produce, and for it to be there at the right moment, it widens what I'll call that marketing gap to be successful as a modern marketer, right? We're a new era, a new age of marketers, and we've got to have a strategic mix of technology available to us to be effective. And it's, you know, it's on various sizes of organizations. It's really in the enterprise, it's in the mid-market, it's B2B and B2C, it's cross-industry. You know, even if you have regulated products like financial services or life sciences, or you move at very quick speeds and you've got seasonal marketing that you do at retail, high fashion retail as an example, or if you're a technology company, really the problem exists there. And it's a global challenge too, especially those of us who have brands that are in numerous regions and countries, and they're all connected. We're all connected there. So, what I like to expose here is this idea of this modern marketing operational gap that exists. All the channels, all the content, and movement away from traditional marketing. We've got to be prepared. We've got to evolve. And to say that marketing is changing is an understatement, right? There's a lot of marketers and leaders in organizations, and we're talking about this disruption we go through. Name the disruption, digital disruption. And we're adapting to this new landscape. And there's a term that's being thrown around out there that a lot of the marketing thought leaders are talking about, and I love this term. It's digital Darwinism. It's really it's the reality that in society, and customer expectations, technology has evolved so fast that it's hard for us as brand owners to keep up and adapt, and we're in this constant state of survival. It's a digital-first marketing strategy that a lot of us have, and we're dealing with this same amount of resources or a shrinking number of resources to do what we want to do. So we've got to pick strategies that give us the most, and we've got to put our dollars where they make the most sense to get the biggest result. And it's really a new call for new leadership. We're seeing evolving business models. We're even seeing the organizational reshape, right? And I'm hearing a new mantra. People are saying, we've got to adapt, adapt or die. And it's very important. And what organizations are saying is we've got to really advance our marketing operations strategy. We've got to put more rigor, more discipline around what we do, or it's going to take control of our business. And so many of you could be marketing operations practitioners or know what marketing operations is, but it really is a discipline that combines the people, process, technology to enhance an organization's ability to optimize those internal and external marketing resources. So it's the folks that we have on board, on our teams, in our org, but then it's also those many agencies, suppliers that we work with who are really our partners too. So it's wrapping our arms around all of that. And it's, it really comes out whenever we have a lot to deal with. So if you've got lots of channels you're dealing with, you're trying to deal with lots of different customer segments, you're a global organization, the issue gets exacerbated. So what we need to do really is come up with a strategy that's going to help us work through all this. And what I'll talk about now are some key essentials in that strategy that, when these things work together, we're able to adapt and we're able to keep up. And if you bring them together, you really unlock the ability for survival. But it's when they sit alone that you really lack a holistic strategy, and unfortunately, your marketing performance suffers. So 5 core essentials here to be mastered, to be an agile organization, and frankly, marketers must be able to evolve and adapt these areas, to survive. So very simply put, plan, spend, create, distribute, perform, a lot under there. And, we're dealing with, I mentioned it before, complexity, but unmanageable complexity. And we're fighting against this chaos and disorder in our organizations and all around. And I like to use the term organizational entropy. And if we don't actually borrow that term from thermodynamics, it's the actual measure of chaos. But that's what it does. That operational gap makes us run around and look at how we can just keep up and survive. And so we need a discipline to wrap around all of that. And so let's look at each of these individually. This plan. So there's lots of planning challenges out there if you want to be more strategic about what you do. And there's lots of misalignment on strategic direction that we see. There's a lot of inconsistent linkage between marketing's efforts and business outcomes. There's disconnected execution and connection back to strategy. And there's generally just a lack of coordination in the top-down and bottom-up planning process. So lots of different planning methodologies out there. Many of you might be familiar with Hoshin planning, more traditional methods of planning where you've got your key business issues, you establish your measurable business outcomes, you define an overall vision and goals, you build your supporting strategies, you include some lean manufacturing concepts in there, some lean techniques. Then you build your tactics and objectives to realize those strategies, wrap your performance measures around it, then begin to perform. The modern marketer, or where we need to evolve to, and what I'm seeing with lots of organizations today, is they're creating a more agile, more adaptive approach to planning, and I'm calling that rolling planning. And it moves through cycles of planning, then versioning, refinement, test, and iterate. And I think that's the new key here that's put in there, which is testing. Always be testing, and then you continue to iterate through that loop. Also seeing some of the more modern marketing organizations do customer-centric planning. So what they're doing is they're really putting the customer at the center in their journey and behavior within the planning stages. They're evolving their segmentation strategy and keeping it in planning. It's not just segmentation in terms of execution, but really pulling your segmentation strategy into your strategic planning. We're also seeing organizations evolve away from the more traditional models of line of business centric and product centric designs. And also there's new leadership that's emerging. This idea of this customer segment owner. Really their job is to match customers' needs with products and services and go-to-market tactics, and prioritizing everything so that it's contextually relevant, and it moves the customers through that experience in the way that they need to move and evolve through the right channel. And there's also big emphasis on buyer journey alignment. So I'm sure lots of you are working on that, but very key. But the idea is pull that into planning and evolve your planning process to keep up. Next element let's get into is spend. So let's, the money, the budgets. Traditional marketing challenges exist here with no method to keep the organization accountable for the usage of the budget. Like I mentioned, a lot of organizations I see aren't actually using purpose-built marketing tools to manage the budget or the spend. You can't reallocate dollars based on campaign performance in a timely fashion. So having the insight to hit the pause button, transfer the funds, put it in high-performing campaigns that are actually proving themselves out in real time, having that ability to pivot. Also, they lack visibility in the consumption of the spend. How much is left to spend? Where is it? Chasing around in the organization to try to find out for that status meeting, how much do I have left to spend? That's that organizational entropy I was talking about. And then what happens is you just can't invest strategically. And that's where we need to evolve toward. And so some recommendations, and what I'm observing out there is these key relationships that research talked about a lot of the bureaucracy and some of the silos. What we're seeing lots of the more strategic marketers out there doing now is building great relationships with the CFO. So unfortunately, marketing still is looked at as a cost center. But what we're trying to do as marketers is evolve that to be looked at as a profit center. And the key here is to align with the CFO and work toward gaining better understanding of one another's organizational goals and objectives. And then there's processes you could put in there and new methods in marketing operations like top-down and bottoms-up budgeting. Some of our customers that we work with call it zero-based budgeting, and a more creative term for it is the Hunger Games for marketing dollars. I actually really like that one. So it's people marketers proving that what they're doing is actually going to leverage each dollar to the maximum across the organization. But you've got to have these predefined systems and process in place and be able to quickly pivot whether it's small or large scale allocations. Really just have that insight in the tools, technology in your MarTech stack in order to do it. So the next element here is create. So this is really taking great ideas and getting them into market. So the creation of content and processes and moving that out and through the organization. In the organization, I showed you that operational gap. What's happened is part of that is this content floodgate that's been created. It's a massive amount of branded content that moves through the process in order to hit the right target in the right channel, be contextually relevant, display the right piece of content at the right point in time. That's the thing we're challenged with here. And we've known for a long time that process can be a key differentiator for our business. And over the years, worked with lots of organizations and have been working on improvements to the go-to-market processes and strategies. And, processes like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, were relatively linear. We had predictable outcomes, predictable timelines. We looked at it in terms of months and weeks. But we can't do that anymore, right? Digital disruption has happened to us, and we've got to be able to move faster. So what we're seeing, the more modern marketer who's adapted is adopting more nonlinear adaptive approaches, and they're emerging. And what happens is they're taking little strategy, implementing it quickly, getting insight into its success or failure very quickly from customers, and then adjusting and then continue to learn. And I see great successes there, but not so fast. They didn't start off so great. Be careful if you want to take this on. Look at it as iterative. It is emergent. It's an agile go-to-market process. It might not work the first time. Companies who have tried to implement agile have faced strong resistance, so organizational change. It doesn't come easy. People don't like to change. There's numerous books about people who don't like to change and how to work through change management. So think through all that. And it's not just a new methodology, and it's not just a piece of technology. It really is a fundamental culture shift to think about in the organization. So when you think about going agile with your processes, especially in this create phase, you've got to have a strategic approach. So think through that. And I often get asked, agile, doesn't that mean no process and very ad hoc? No, it's the exact opposite. It's a very well-defined process, but it empowers the marketing team to stay laser focused and not get distracted by that organizational chaos or that organizational entropy that I was mentioning earlier. So the next element here is distribute. So we're at that content floodgate that I mentioned, and we've created some amazing branded content, but now we need to get it out into market through channels, right? So what we need to do, the modern marketer needs to start involving a solid distribution strategy to drive a return on content investment and pull it into the planning phase. So depending upon your business, there's lots of business models out there, and many have different push and pull method strategies for content that need to be considered. And so you need to apply it appropriately. Investment in branding content is rising, right? Too many brand marketers out there fail because they don't plan on how it's going to be distributed and think about how that content will be discovered in the market. So what this means is that content investments will be intended audience and have no chance to deliver value for the brand if you don't think through that. So to be adaptive, marketers should address their distribution strategy. Think through that. And it's the full production, promotion, and measurement phase of your content distribution strategy. So perform is the next element here. So traditional marketing, lots of organizational challenges with performance and measurement, the alignment issue, no ability to measure return on marketing investment, too much information. There's data fractures in the organization. It's not actionable. Years ago, we were talking about we don't have enough data for marketing. What do we have now? We've got too much of it, right? And it's not aligned to business objectives or key performance indicators. And also, there's lots of measurement going on out there, but it's not in the context of a baseline or target. And sometimes we don't have year-over-year data, quarterly averages at a program level or at a campaign level. So seeing performance through the lens of the campaign is very important. So I'm not going to go into all the metrics and KPIs that are really important today, but what I will talk about are some of the key ones that I'm seeing the modern marketer really look at elevating. So time to market. TTM is a big metric that we're looking at right now. In the study, the data that came back talked about how important that is. And we believe that it's a new indicator of success. It's right up there with return on marketing investment, with ROI. And the idea is that we're in this digital economy, and the assumption out there that a lot of us talk about is that the market will change by the time we actually hit it. And so we won't know what that change will be, but we have to assume that it will change. And this means that the best indicator of success is likely to be time to market. So adopting it can be a primary success criteria for you, and it will obviously give you the chance to get into market fast, but more importantly, it gives you a bias for action, and it favors action over indecisiveness, and it gives you flexibility over rigidity. So it's something, I'm not saying throw out everything that you're doing today, and ROI, return on marketing investment, is not important, but look at TTM really as something that needs to be on your executive dashboard going forward, really looking at how the operation can be influenced to improve those numbers. And in conclusion here, sort of this capstone slide, when you bring all these things together and you have strategies in place that work these 5 key competencies of marketing, you really establish that marketing knowledge base and a hub to learn from and drive your insight back into your plans. You can operate marketing as a fully accountable business. And there's a lot of management of the art and science associated with marketing here. And, you know, if you do this right, it will allow you to sleep at night. So with that, Jenny, I'll pass it over to you to take it forward.
Excellent, Ed. Thank you so much. Some excellent insights and perspective and suggestions as well. Now we obviously have time to take a few audience questions. As a reminder, you can submit your questions for Ed or for me through the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen. So let's see here, Ed. I think we have a couple quick questions we can start with.
Sure.
So the first is, my organization still operates under traditional marketing processes that are slow and linear. How do we start adding agile concepts into the organization? What are the right types of process and campaigns we'd want to look at as a starting point? And this goes back to exactly back to your presentation just now.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, a great place to start is, you know, in the more, you know, innovative types of campaigns that you have. Definitely look at the digital elements of your campaigns, like display ad campaigns, search, social, content marketing, website, even if it's a new, you know, website or a refresh, building of landing pages, email, or, you know, even multi-channel campaigns. You know, start small, find something, you know, align agile with the speed at which you need to leverage that media type. And the idea is you want to get insight on success or failure quickly and then scale it up from there.
Excellent. Kind of a corollary to that question is, and I know you've touched on this in your presentation, but you know, who would the right stakeholders be to get involved in these conversations? I mean, I think this is so critical to a lot of organizational success too.
Definitely. You know, there's definitely the stakeholders that make the most sense. Stakeholders who have some level of, you know, decision authority get there. Maybe that's, you know, marketing, finance, if you want to build a business case around spend management. Work with, folks who are ultimately responsible for campaigns getting to market, and look at it and work on building your business case. But it's not just those roles that I've seen success. It has to do with that individual. So they've got to be change agents. They have to want to improve. They've got to understand the idea of continuous improvement and how that impacts the organization. And so it's this cross section of the right role in the organization, their level, their ability to influence, as well as them wanting to be with you and changing and build a business case and realize that, hey, we're gonna meet some resistance out of the gate, but we're gonna continue to drive this thing forward, and they're gonna believe in the vision. So it's picking the right team to partner with and build a vision with.
Excellent. So much of it does come back to the culture component, which has been addressed as well. Let's see, we have another question. And this is similar to what we've just discussed. My organization has identified some of our challenges. How do we get started getting organizational support behind looking at marketing operations as a strategy?
Definitely. I would say, once you've identified those stakeholders, you work together and you've got to build your business case. And what I mean by that is you've got to think about who you've got to influence, and you have to put it in terms of quantitative and qualitative operational improvements. At some point in time, this is going to get to the CFO. It's got to make fiscal sense because there's investments that need to be made. There's organizational design impacts. So what you really need to do is focus in and put your business case in terms of quantitative and qualitative improvements to the organization, and then you begin to get that into the right platform in your organization. And there's many different ways to measure and build assumptions around the projected improvements. So get with somebody who's really good at quantifying and qualifying business transformation. If you do have a specific function in your organization that is around business transformation, get with them. Sometimes you got to go outside your organization. Work with a consulting firm who can come in, have an objective opinion about what you're doing and has done this before, and partner with them, and that really just gets the ball rolling.
Excellent. Another question we have from the audience is, what's the best way to determine how to start building your MarTech stack?
How to start slowly could you repeat that? I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, to start building your MarTech stack.
Gotcha.
What's the best way to determine how to start that process?
Yeah, starting the process, I think the process has already started for the organization. And the challenge we've got today is undoing it. It's really understanding the technologies that are already in the MarTech stack. There's an organization that I was working with recently. We did an audit. There's 1,100 plus pieces of technology that they're using for marketing. And there is numerous amounts of redundancy. And what happens is when the organization allowed itself to acquire pieces of technology without a holistic approach and strategy. So I would say, when you want to build your MarTech stack of the future, you really need to don't be distracted by what you have today. Sit back and look at where you're trying to go with the organization, whether you're in financial services or technology or life sciences or consumer, any of those industry sectors. You really got to sit back and think about where your business is going to be, and then what do you need to be able to do to achieve it at scale. And various different capabilities will emerge that you need to have better investment in. Also there's the MarTech stack too, and then there's the data. That's a whole nother dimension that we need to get into now, but you got to think strategically about what needs to be in the stack, how it's pieced together, the connection points. I mean, that's the key right there, is the interoperability of strategic pieces of technology that you have. Once you clean your house up, if that's an issue that you've got, and then you got to think about technology that can plug into the ecosystem, to that MarTech stack, and can start to create efficiencies across capability areas. So, make sure your technology is open and it can connect to, whether it's marketing, it's your ERP systems, or it's your Salesforce automation, or your marketing automation systems, or your downstream reporting, data mart, data warehouse. You got to think through a holistic closed loop attribution design when building your stack.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Ed, how long until most Fortune 500 companies, actually I should say Forbes 2000 companies, marketing departments are led by digital first leaders rather than traditional leaders? I think that's a great question.
I'm already seeing it today. I'm already seeing there's CMOs of some Fortune 500 financial services companies who have backgrounds in data science, which is really interesting. So we're already seeing it happen. It's happening all around us. Very soon, I talked about some of these new emerging roles that are popping up, but more and more, marketing is going to have the largest amount of tech spend in the whole organization. I want to say it's going to outpace IT. I mean, it really could be right now. But yeah, it's happening now, and it's great to see too, because putting the technology in the hand of the marketer is really where you can use technology in a strategic way and not just some operational way. And you can make the decisions on the types of technologies you use as a marketer if you've got a good tech visionary in a leadership role at marketing.
Excellent. Excellent. It'll be really fascinating to see how all these things continue to play out as we move forward. I think that's all the time we have for questions now. To learn more, please visit Forbes.com/Forbes Insights. If you'd like to view a demo of Aprimo, please visit Aprimo.com/demo. Ed, I'd like to thank you so much for as I said earlier, your insights and your perspective on this. And I'd like to thank everybody here who's been joining us for being here, and have a great day. Thank you, everyone.